Okay, I am live on, I'm actually live on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube. And that's because I'm on spring break. It's not that I don't have anything to do. Trust me, I have plenty to do. But I am at home and on spring break, and a lot of people keep asking me about ChatGPT. I literally have friends come over and I explain how to use ChatGPT. And it's an artificial intelligence, generative pre trained transformer, and it's fun. And I know there are many districts that are like, especially in like New York, and I think LA is kind of embracing this idea. And people are actually doing or playing around with ChatGPT at home on their computers. But if you're in education and you remember in 1995, okay, yeah, the late 1900s, and you were like, kids are going to cheat. Like, kids are going to cheat. They're going to Google stuff. And they're like, there's no way they're going to be online and not cheat. Well, they did because I was in the classroom. I remember kids doing like this whole copy, cut, and paste thing. And they would copy, cut, and paste. They'd go to Google and Google a topic. Let's just go to Google. And those of you that are watching me on YouTube, let me just change that screen. So they would go to Google and they would ask Google, give me research on Chat GPT. And then they would write their paper and okay, we'll just go to Chat GPT since we're there. And let's just find some research actually. Give me research. And it'll give you an article and they grab their little article and they would, I like that. We're going to go back to that. Here's some research. They have their article, they would copy it like this and be like, this is my paper. Like literally, they would go here. Let's just do this for fun. They would go here and they would throw it in there. They would throw it in here and they would submit this paper. They would totally submit this, but they would. They would submit, and we hated the idea that when they used to use Google, those of you that taught in the late 1900s or earlier than that, they would submit these papers and teachers would be mad. Well, we didn't teach them how to use Google. We didn't teach them how to use Google. We didn't teach them how to use search engines. And then they'd have this. And then we wonder why they'd have these things like those hyperlinks like this. They would turn it in, they would copy, cut, and paste, they would throw it in, and then we'd wonder why that stuff actually was there. And then we'd be mad at them because there was plagiarism. Well, we didn't teach kids how to use it. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm not saying that teachers should start throwing this in the classroom, teaching the students how to use it. I mean, we'll get there because I don't want you to do anything your district doesn't want you to do or your school site. That is not even my point. But I will tell you that if you are a teacher, if you are a parent, and you have never seen ChatGPT, this website, you need to go find it. It's chat.openai.com. And I did create a course for teachers, and if you want information on that course, you can go to my bio on TikTok, or you can go if you are on YouTube watching me live right now, you can just scan that QR code and I'll send you some information on that this weekend because that's when I'm going to publish it and make it go live. But if you are a teacher, happy spring break, those of you that are on spring break, um, and you've not seen this, you are missing out because it will change what you're doing and how efficient you are. And I'm a science teacher by trade, and I'm telling you, science was my thing. I love science, but let's just say if you're, and I'm going to go there, like I'm going to go there and show you some stuff. But let's say you're a science teacher and you're like, or you have kids that are in the science fair, parents, you have kids that want to do the science fair and you're like, I don't know what to do with that. Okay, those of you that are on YouTube, I'm on TikTok too. You're like, I don't know what to do with how to help my kids come up with a science fair idea. I don't know what to do at all. Like this is something you can use for them. You can have it help you with math, so many things that you can help it. The things. But typically, the first thing you see, and I'm going to make this just slightly larger for those of you that are on YouTube and you're watching, you can. The first thing you do is you have this thing on the left. It's called the sidebar. Like I have so many things here. And then you have ChatGPT 3.5. Well, 3.5, if you have 4.0, that's the paid version. It's $20 a month. It's like the price of 4 coffees. And I don't really go to Starbucks, but some of you do. But you can ask it almost anything. You can ask it to tell me what the weather would typically be on this day, or it gives you ideas of what you could do, like compare storytelling techniques. Like just click it and see what happens. Look how fast it spits it out. Like this is amazing. And if you are a teacher and you're like, okay, all right, it gives you the length and narrative style. It gives you so many things. And if you're a parent and you have young children and you are like, I don't know how to help my kids before they go to kindergarten, this can help you. It can help organize you. Like, I want my kids to read before they go to school. How can I help my kids learn to read? Now, this is a chat that I'm in, but I'm going to ask it that question. I am a parent of a 3-year-old. 3-year-old. She likes books. I want her to read. How can I teach her? Now, I'm just going to tell you, I can see that I misspelled something. I don't have capital letters. I did that with purpose. Look, let's ask it. Read together, make it fun, point to words. Let's just slow this down a little bit. Encourage participation, repeat often, use phonics. You're like, what is phonics? Like, tell me more about, now I copied it, let's just say about number 6. I am new and not a teacher. Like this is just parents alone, what you can do. It's telling you letter sounds. Start by teaching your child the sounds that each letter of the alphabet makes. In the United States, we have English. We typically, as parents, I'm guilty of this. I have 4 adult children. What we typically do with our children is we teach them the alphabet. We teach them what the letter is, like the letter A. We don't teach them the sounds before age 5. But if you did, they are more likely to access school a little bit easier. And that is why this is so fun. Like, and you can say, well, you know what? This is still hard. Like, give me examples of number 1. See, letter A. A says, like this is, and believe it or not, there are other apps out there that will actually say this for you. Now, 4.0 is a little bit better, but if you want the free version, you just create an account with your Google account. Like I totally recommend this as parents. And if you're thinking this is still a lot, I'm not quite sure. Honestly, I would take my time with this and say, okay, slow down. This is a lot. Give me one example of how to help my child read. Now I'm going to tell you, reading to your child every day, for an hour or 2 a day, there's 24 hours in a day. That would help. Like, okay, so and it spits it out pretty quickly. Okay, examples, reading alphabet books. I would argue, what about content? I would argue content. Now, if you are a teacher, now I'm going to go there for a moment. If you are a teacher, and let's do a new chat and say, I am a new teacher and I am teaching grade 3. How can I integrate mathematics and, those of you that are on TikTok, I'm on YouTube too, mathematics and science? How can I do this? It's giving you like If you're a teacher, this isn't hard for you to see because you already went through probably 4 years of education. You probably already, this isn't a lot. So I just want to throw that out there. Like measurement, data analysis, geometry and shapes, patterns and sequence, problem solving, mathematical modeling, exploring fractions. And okay, that's a lot. It is. But what if you say, my curriculum, the product, because the curriculum are the state standards, by the way, in California. The product is reading wonders. How can I use my resource to teach reading with science? Gives you ideas, full ideas. And I know that it's just giving you a list of ideas. You can ask it to expand on anything, research projects, things like that. And I don't want you to get overwhelmed with ChatGPT. The first time I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's spitting it out so quickly. Now I don't want to go into our reading wonders for my school district, but if you had access, you could download a PDF and upload it if you have the paid version. And I know a lot of you do. So for those of you that are online and you're like, what can I do with that PDF? Now I'm going to show you something. Let's have a little fun. I know it's fun for me. But if you're a teacher, again, happy spring break if you're on spring break. It's a little bit earlier here in California. Let's say that you are a teacher in the state of California. In the state of California, the state of California is putting the science test on what we call the California dashboard. That means we're going to be held accountable for the science scores. And in grades 5, 8, and one grade in high school, either 10, 11, or 12, students will be taking the science test and they are going to be measured now. I like that as a science teacher because I feel like we teach reading or ELA, English Language Arts and Mathematics in isolation. So I like this idea because I believe when kids have access to content, rich content, they can apply their mathematics, they can apply their English Language Arts, writing, research in a more integrated approach. So here's what we're going to do. And again, for me, it's fun. I can make anything, I can make you looking at data really fun too. So this is the next generation science standards. If you're in the United States, typically most states use this, okay? Most states. And I'm just going to hit search here because I kind of want to go straight to the standards. And it starts off automatically with kindergarten. So let's just stay with kindergarten and let's select one of the disciplines. I like all of these, by the way, but I'm going to select physical science and I'm going to select submit. And it's going to give me the state standards. Nice. It also will give me the state standards over here. I can get it as a PDF and it gives me the search by evidence. I don't know if you knew this, but most people, let's just go to this one. This is what happens when you get the state standard for science for this. This is what we call a performance expectation. This here, plan and conduct an investigation, is what we want students to do in kindergarten. Yeah, that. Now, all of this other extra stuff, you're like, that's a lot. Well, disciplinary core ideas are like, what ideas are we focusing on? Force and motion, types of interactions, and relationships between energy and forces. Yeah, kindergartens can do this. And then what are the cross-cutting concepts? It's a lot. It also gives you the other related state standards, performance expectations, and the Common Core state standards that go along with it. That's a whole lot. But over here, and by the way, I'm going to show you something. I am going to copy this. Watch this. Because I could download it as a PDF, but just so you know, I'm going to copy it and putting it on my I'm saving it as a file, losing my train of thought. And I'm also going to grab this evidence statement. So for those of you that teach science and integrate it K-5 or middle or high school, I wondered if you knew this. This is the exact same thing, but check it out. It actually tells you how to teach this concept. See the phenomenon, what you should do. But let's just download it. I'm going to download it, and I'm going to download it in my downloads right here, even though it knows that I've done this before. And I'm going to go back in here. Let's go back to ChatGPT, and I'm going to change it to 4.0, and let's upload this. So let's go to the download, which, of course, let's go to this one first, and we're going to add it. And then we're going to add this other one. Gotta go to my downloads. I'm gonna have to find it because let's see. There it is. Okay. So for those of you that are on TikTok, I apologize. My face is like right there. But let's just make it a little bit bigger for those of you that are on TikTok. Okay, so you can see it. So here are the state standards. All I'm going to do is say, give me a lesson plan for let's just do 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, I'll just say for 2 weeks for this standard. Let's just make it simple. Just throw that in there. So note that it is thinking. You can see that it's thinking here. And it's reiterating the physical science standard. It's giving you an objective. It's telling you to read a story or show a video about forces. Now, I'm just going to tell you that give me a book idea. And then I'm going to say, add success criteria and learning intentions. Now, those of you that are teachers are like, oh, I'm just going to wait for a moment. And it's telling you what, and this doesn't really give me a time frame, how long, introduce all of these. Elaborate. I am new at this. Oh, it's still thinking. So this is the 10-day. I'm going to go with this is about 30 minutes to an hour a day. Give me experiment or phenomena. Okay. And this, to me, I mean, and Mr. Green, I so want to invite you, but I'm like, I don't want, this is new to me. I want to invite you, but let me do it next time. And this idea of just give me a few more minutes and then jump back in. So look at this. This is what it does. Like the force can push, that a force can be a push or a pull. It gives you the book idea, the adventures of push and pull. Now, let's go over to Amazon and see if this is a real book. I don't see the book. It says, give me a book idea. Give me an actual book I can purchase or check out. I'm still thinking. And notice that 4.0 is a lot slower. 4.0 is so much slower than 3.5, but let's be honest. How are we defining slower? Because I don't know any teacher that can come up with a plan this quickly. Now, I used to write my lesson plans out verbatim. And I don't mean just when I was being evaluated. I mean, I would have a full weeks of lesson, and I would go back to them and tweak them because I was better at teaching when I had a plan. And I don't mean an agenda that I put on the board. I don't mean this is what we're doing at this time and this is what we're doing at this time. I taught middle school science. So I had 55 minutes and I was planned out. Like every minute was well spent. So now let's just see. Let's see if it'll give me some other books, but it gives you an activity, ramp and roll. And most of you as teachers can run with this. Like, this is amazing. Now, if you want more information, I did create a course, but it's not published yet. If you just scan that, and I'll send you the information if you want it, your choice. But look at this. Let's see if these are actual. Oh, it even gave me the author. Let's go see if this is an actual book. Look at this. These are actual books. I love it. Let's see if that's the only book that it gave me. But at least it's given me something. At least it's giving me something. So, and I, I'm telling you, these are great ideas. Now, if for those of you that are just joining me on YouTube, what I did is I went to ChatGPT and I gave a demonstration on how you can create a lesson plan using a next generation science standard. Like your kindergarten, the state of California is going to be holding us accountable for science. And there's this assumption, well, they're only tested in fifth grade. They're only tested in eighth grade. They're only tested once in high school. But fifth grade teachers aren't the ones, they're not the only ones giving the content. It's K-5. So everything that they start to learn earlier on will enhance what they do when they take that assessment in fifth grade. And for those of you that are like, can we just make the assessments go away? Well, those of you that are teachers in California and even I in Illinois, we took what was called in Illinois the Praxis, the Illinois Basic Skills Test. And in California, we take the California Basic Skills Test. In Illinois and Ohio, I took the Praxis for Science. And in California, they made me take extra courses like literally physics and astronomy, which I loved, even though my background is in bio. But I also took the Science 1 and 2, and that was the CSET. So we have to take tests throughout our lives. So this isn't going to go away. And the other thing that you should know in the state of California, when students take the 11th grade assessment in English language arts and mathematics, for those of you that didn't know this, um, did you know that that is their early advanced placement test now? The University of California's and the Cal States actually accept that instead of an SAT or an ACT. They'll take that if you want to do it. But we in education already offer it to the students for free in 11th grade. So that's something they can grasp on and grab onto. So I'm not sure if you knew that, but that's why when we allow the students to practice taking these assessments, and we don't assign kids a grade in school. I think there's this assumption that parents want to, opt out, for example, because I don't want my kid to be graded on that. We just use it to inform what we're doing as educators. I don't know if you knew that. Like we use the assessment to inform what we're doing, to provide professional development for teachers, to provide what we need to do differently to help our students. And that is something that is just, I think there's a misconception, and we use it to inform. Now, again, third through eighth grade and 1 year in high school, 11th grade, we do the English language arts and the math assessment. For those of you that take the NAEP, through the National Center for Educational Statistics, we take about, some school districts offer 50 students, for example, and they take the U.S. assessment to see how we're doing as a country. And then there are some students in the United States that take the program international assessment, the PISA, so we're compared around the world. These assessments are valuable to us to tell us how we're doing and how we can inform what we're doing, especially at the university level. How are we preparing our teachers? So take a step back and don't let it get you too worked up over it. So those are just things that I wanted to point out. So one other thing that I wanted to show you with ChatGPT, and I'm going to do this as a new chat. You as a teacher, I want to show you something. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT, and I'm going to open this up so you can see it here a little bit larger. List the mathematics standards and standards for mathematical practice for, let's go with calculus. Let's see what it does. So it'll give me the mathematical practices. For those of you that are like, what are the mathematical practices? While it's thinking, I'm going to show you. So the standards for mathematical practice and math Common Core in California. So if I were to click on the standards in California, these are the standards for mathematical practice. I'm going to show them to you. Here they are. These are the standards for mathematical practice, if you didn't know. These are those standards. And then in each grade level, for example, kindergarten, you have the mathematical practices. There's 8 of them. And if we were to go down to, let's see if I can do a quick search and type in calculus. Um, let's see if it'll find these. Okay, so now we come down here. Um, and this is algebra. I just want calculus. Okay, so these are the standards for calculus, for example. So when I look at this, every student who is assessed actually has to understand the thinking behind mathematics. So when I look at the standards for mathematical practices, whether it's math 3, 2, 1, in the state of California, we have both algebra, geometry, trigonometry, and then we also offer it as math 1, 2, and 3. All students have to be able to do this. Most students are really good at the calculations, most students. But they have to be able to do this. So when I am in ChatGPT and it gives me all of this, I'm going to ask it to give me an example of one problem. Let's go and look at these. We'll do differential using this. Give me an example. You're like, and if you're a parent, and if you're a parent and you're like, my kid takes calculus, I can't help my kid in calculus. ChatGPT can help you help your child. And if they come home like, I don't know what to do, like it's giving you, let P represent the population at time and T hours. Time, the problem states that the rate of growth of the population gives you the proportion to the population size that can be expressed. I don't even care if you understand it. That's not my point. Now, it's telling you how to solve the problem. Your child, if they're in calculus, they can look at this and figure out how to do this. How amazing is this? And I'm not telling you, you just have to keep asking ChatGPT the right questions. Like, what can I do in order to enhance this? What can I do differently? So, and I really think that sometimes we get overwhelmed with what we're doing with ChatGPT and we're like, I don't know where to start. And this, I truly believe that just looking at this and what it's going to do to help us and help us help our own children. This is the profound piece. And it will help you as a teacher. Like this is my first year teaching calculus. I have a background in mathematics. I can teach all of this. Well, I know all of it, but teaching it and knowing it are two different things. You remember that one professor you had in college that used to talk to the board? I remember that in one of my cell biology classes. I was like, why is this teacher looking at the board and I can't even hear them? And I have a hearing impairment. It's like, okay, like, so this can help your child because you're always going to end up with someone you don't want, but we can teach our children how to learn. The idea of education, especially public education, is to provide students the ownership of their learning, and they can do this. They can really, really do this. So, and if you want more information, scan the QR code. If you are on TikTok, you can go to my bio and get more information. I will email you and things like that. Or you can go to my YouTube, MJ Blazy, and just because I will save this and keep this on YouTube. And I, you know what, honestly, I appreciate you being here. Like, and again, if you see this and you're like, I don't want to see anything about differential equations in ChatGPT, but you know what? You can just ask ChatGPT as a parent, how can I help my child in 5th grade? They are struggling in mathematics. Just ask it that question. It's going to tell you some ideas. And, so there are a couple of things with ChatGPT that you do. You ask it either a question, like this is where you are giving it, you just want information back. But we also can, and this is what we call prompting it. We also can ask ChatGPT to give us like a transaction, like a command. And when we command it, we're asking it to give us output based on something we actually need. This is just giving us ideas. So it's telling you what you can do, but you can be really, really specific. My child is having trouble with what's a fifth grade standard? Multiplying fractions. Help. You could even put the actual equation in there. You can take a picture of it and upload it into ChatGPT. And you can say, give me examples. Like, give me examples of a problem. And I'm going, and step by step guide, I'm going to stop it and just say, give me examples of problems. And it'll give, and you can have, you and your child could work side by side. Now, ChatGPT states that students should be 18 years, 18 years or older if they're doing this. If they're 8, and the reason why they're saying 18 or older is because they want parent input and teacher input. They don't want you to just put a child in front of here because you could ask it anything. Most school districts are coming up with a plan on how to use this just from an education perspective. And then how can we push this out? Because when Google came out, those of you that came in early, especially on YouTube, when Google came out, we were like, I don't even know what to do with this. Like literally kids were copy cutting, pasting, and throwing things out online. And they were turning in things like this, like literally things like this with hyperlinks. And we're like, that's plagiarism. But we didn't teach them how to use it. So we as educators have to get in front of this so we know what we're doing. So look, it gives you an example on how to help the child in mathematics. You know, that whole, remember that show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I'm not expecting any parent to know all of this because we don't necessarily use this every day, except if you're in college and you're talking about calculus or science or bio or physics, or you're an engineer, you might be using a lot of this every day. So this is just something that it can help you and guide you and help you when you're online. So with that, I am so grateful that you came out to hang out with me, and come back. Check out my YouTube if you're interested in the course that I'm publishing this weekend. Just especially if you're an educator, because it's ChatGPT for educators. Scan that QR code, and I will publish this so you can come back to it, or you can go to my Instagram or my bio on YouTube or my TikTok bio, and just there's a link there as well, and there are some freebies. I want you to have those, and anybody can do this. You don't need me. You can just ask ChatGPT to help guide you. So thank you so much, and come back often. Have an awesome spring break. Bye, everybody.